Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Too Heavy Wrestling Podcast. Zach hit the air horns.
Stop the cap.
They better be there this time, or you and I are gonna have a talking to, buddy. He forgot the air horns a couple weeks ago, and I'm not over it, to be quite honest. But speaking of things that aren't over, let's talk about.
I didn't forget.
Shut up. Let's talk about Seth Rollins and his World Heavyweight Championship to start. We're going to be talking about Seth Rollins and his World Heavyweight Championship. We're going to be talking about the Royal Rumble that is next weekend. And I think that's about it. I think that's everything that's important. Nothing else matters right now. All of that will encapsulate everything. So, first things first, by the time this episode's come out, it'll be tonight on Raw, because these comes out on Mondays, right?
Yes.
Mondays. All right, good, because they've been coming on Tuesdays for some reason. Monday, tonight, we're going to find out if Seth Rollins is keeping the World Heavyweight Championship, but he's going to be out for a couple weeks, or if he's got to give it up. What exactly is going on with his knee?
Seth Rollins has a torn MCL, which is like, in terms of your three knee ligaments, the ACL, the PCL, the MCL. MCL is about the second most important. And he also has a partially torn meniscus. Now, with those two injuries, a standard-ish recovery time would be about 12 to 16 weeks.
Oh, my goodness. So you're looking at 3 to 4 months.
That's drastically different than what I've been hearing.
It could be shorter. It just depends on how bad the meniscus is torn.
It's the surgery aspect, right? If he needs surgery, it's longer. If he doesn't, it's shorter.
Yeah, in most cases with a meniscus tear, partial or complete, you can heal that without surgery, but you can't heal a torn knee ligament without surgery.
Right.
So there is a not 0% chance, however unlikely, that he misses Mania.
How do we feel about that?
All I know is this is the universe saying they don't want Seth Rollins to hold that title going into Mania.
That was going to be my thought. Let's say this injury, let's put the injury aside for a second. Let's say he's not injured. He beats Jinder Mahal and everything's hunky-dory. What does him and his World Heavyweight Championship look like over the next 3 months going into Rumble through Mania? Does he have the title going into Mania if he's not injured right now? Like, what do we think's going on there?
In my opinion, it was yes.
I said no. I'm going to stick by no.
Yes, just because there's not a better option.
I had him losing it at Mania.
Correct.
Was my thing.
I said Chamber. I would be sticking to that still. I don't know who, but I think that potential matchup between him and Punk needs to have no title in it. I think it'd be good for a first matchup between the two. I think no title on the line makes it kind of more significant, and then go later down the line with the title on the line.
Kind of like the Cody storyline when Cody first came back.
Correct.
It didn't need a title to feel important for Seth versus Cody.
Exactly.
So, well, with that being said, let's go the opposite direction. Let's say Seth does have to give up this title. What do we do with the World Heavyweight Championship as early as this upcoming weekend with the Rumble? What are our options here?
I mean,
sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
you're good. I in my opinion, if you want to make people watch your pay-per-views more and more, you make the prize the WWE title.
Right.
That's how I would feel if he actually is injured. You make that the grand prize, and whoever. Did you feel good doing that?
I didn't do that. That was him, actually.
Okay.
I was making sure the water bottle didn't spill in your chair.
He was the one crinkling the bottle. But anyways.
Okay, look, if you're going to start this right, and who would be in the Rumble and who would win the Rumble, let's say.
Okay.
If I am going to have someone win the Rumble to try to build up significance for Mania, and Mania plans change, especially if Seth Rollins is injured, probably won't be able to have him versus Punk, which was the big thing that was going to happen. I would say, if for my WWE champion on for everyone on that show minus CM Punk, because at that point, then maybe I could see him winning the title at Mania.
Yeah.
I would want Drew McIntyre to be my WWE champion.
You talking about the World Heavyweight Champion, or you talking about Roman's title?
Sorry. Yeah, the World Heavyweight Championship.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
How does he win it, though? Does he win it in a one-on-one match?
Wins it in a Rumble. In the Rumble. In the Rumble.
So you're saying what I was thinking, which is the Rumble becomes for the heavyweight title.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It seems, I don't want to say too obvious, but like
I keep hearing Brock's going to be in the Rumble, though.
there are rumblings of Rock's return. Brock already returned. There are rumblings of Brock's return. I wouldn't be upset if he was in the Rumble, but I don't need him to win the World Heavyweight Championship in the Rumble.
I have two answers to how I could see it playing out.
Okay.
So if they do make the Rumble for the title, I still see CM Punk winning it.
So he wins the Rumble, wins the World Heavyweight Championship.
Only because if this is a sense of Seth being on the shelf with a possible return of Mania, this gives him a chance to come back and win some way or form a match with him.
Yeah.
But, and if Seth can't come back before Mania, then I see it being Drew versus Punk at Mania for the belt, with CM Punk carrying it until Mania and losing it to Drew at Mania.
Because my thing is, if you don't have the heavyweight title be the prize for the Rumble, there's not really enough time other than unless they just announce it on Raw for a one-on-one or a triple threat or a fatal four-way to crown a new heavyweight champion at Rumble. Is it vacant all the way until Chamber? Like if they don't have it for the Rumble?
That's my other side of the coin, is that if they don't make the Rumble for the title, is that I'm going as early as tonight with Raw, is that you got Damian Priest claiming his championship with a cash into a vacant title.
And he doesn't have to even beat anyone for it? Though that's never been done before.
It has not been done before. Now, one, it gives Damian Priest a title run.
Yeah.
Two, it gives us a somewhat interesting story going into the next few months leading to Mania. But I can't tell you what would happen after Damian Priest would cash in. So
that's kind of my thing. And I feel like, honestly, Damian Priest and his briefcase have been overlooked in the situation, because until you said that, not only had I not thought about it at all, but I haven't read about it at all either. No one has been talking about that.
I just don't care about him holding the briefcase at this point. Is that like a big deal?
I mean, my bold prediction in last week's episode was that he has a failed cash-in, so.
And I'm expecting that, and I hope it happens like that, because I can't, with the talent you have on the roster, Damian Priest should not be the world champion, and that's my opinion.
It would be good for the Judgment Day.
our
all that
truth will
gold.
cost
It'd
him.
be great.
Oh, that'd be funny. What about you, Clayton? What do you think?
I think there's really only two avenues.
Hold on, before you give your answer, you're playing too much with the mic, so you're going in and
your
out.
swing literally
And you're
took all
tapping
of the way.
on your
Have you
mic
seen-
stand,
have
and
you
you're
seen
going
the
ding, ding,
meme?
ding, ding.
Where it's like,
Yeah, that's literally.
Yeah. So I was
That's so
gathering my
funny.
thoughts.
the flyby.
It's so funny. Yeah, I've seen that.
Rumble for the belt. Damian cashes in on the winner. Is door
Oh,
number
you
one.
like combine them? Okay.
Because then Damian and whoever gives you your program till Chamber. And if Seth trends more towards being healthy in time to work Mania, cool. You can slot Seth in. There's your triple threat Mania belt. That takes care of that.
Yeah.
Set it off to the side. Second option, he just keeps the belt and doesn't work.
Yeah, if he doesn't, if the road to recovery is not long enough, they won't strip it. He'll just keep it for a month and then defend it in some way.
So is the 30-day... Okay, the 30-day rule's been out the window.
There was an episode of Raw, I think in like 2016 or something like that, where they were like, this is a different era and we're getting rid of all of our old rules. And they scrapped the 30-day thing, which is why Brock had the Universal title runs that he had. And they scrapped the automatic rematch clause for anyone who loses a belt. You don't have an automatic rematch anymore.
But do we fail to see why the World Heavyweight Championship was even created? Because USA wanted a main championship on their show, and with the way Roman's Road to WrestleMania is looking, with the potential missing of Elimination Chamber, do we really see a Road to WrestleMania where both main titles aren't on any show until the big show?
No, see, and that's crazy. You can't have two absent world champions. Either Roman is going to have to show up more on SmackDown to compensate if Seth is going to keep it, or you have to strip Seth and give it to someone who's going to be there.
If Jinder just would have won, we wouldn't have been questioning this.
Honestly,
that's all I got
to
say. Because that was a swerve and a half. I actually thought he was going to win it.
I'm not gonna lie. What happened before he hit his finisher? Was it like a title shot to the head or something?
Yes, I believe so.
Title shot to the head plus Jinder Mahal's finisher should have been the end of the match. If you're gonna do that combination, Seth should not kick out of that.
The only other thing I could see them doing is, which I don't want to see it happen, but is an interim champion.
Ew.
Because that story
That's a
so
UFC ass thing to do. We don't need that.
I don't like interim champions, but I could see them.
The only double-sided coin to that is that's the story that CM Punk was in with AEW, and then he would also be slotted into that with WWE.
Yeah.
But he won the championship.
I agree with Clayton's stank face.
I know. I didn't agree with saying it, but I know that that's a possibility. So,
when's the last time WWE did an interim champion?
I don't think they've.
Have they used that term before? Is what I'm asking.
Technically, when the whole CM Punk Money in the Bank.
That wasn't interim. That was just
that was just crowning new, wasn't it?
That was just crowning new because he left. He re-signed that contract that day.
I don't think they've used interim.
I'm not sure they've ever used interim.
They called both John Cena and CM Punk the active WWE champion.
Yeah.
Which enabled them to put on the undisputed moniker.
Yeah, which is crazy because that was already technically the undisputed. The lineage. I have an entire separate diatribe about the fact that they continue to use the word undisputed with merging titles that were already technically undisputed. Like the lineage of the current WWE champion is actually like 4 world titles absorbed into it, including an Intercontinental Championship. But that's an entire other episode.
The road to WrestleMania does not need Seth Rollins on it. So he should not rush back at 37 years old with a history of knee injuries. Like, my macro look on it is what happens to Seth Rollins, the wrestler, because he finally have to change his style because them legs ain't
It's catching up to him
because it happened off a moonsault off the top.
Yeah, and it was a sunset flip that blew out his knee in 2016 or whatever against Kane in that dark match,
which is even less pressure on the knee than a moonsault is.
Exactly. So like, yeah, I do agree that he's gonna have to change up his style at some point.
No reason for him to rush back.
But let's say he doesn't rush back, and let's say the World Heavyweight Championship isn't on the line for the Rumble. Who are our predictions for the Rumble at this point to win?
If
it's not for a title, and let's say they could either challenge for World Heavyweight or WWE, whatever storyline makes sense based off who you choose. But who's your early front runner for the Rumble?
Cody or Punk. I mean, it's one of the two.
Well, that's what I was saying. Only because up to this point, we thought the Rumble winner was going to be who was going to face for the World Heavyweight title.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: if Brock wins, or let's say Brock is there and he ends up winning, that messes up a storyline somewhere. But
does it?
But are we on the side of Clayton where him returning is to set up something with Gunther?
Well, yeah.
There's a not 0% chance they could have Brock show up, win the Rumble, and because he's Brock, I'm gonna challenge for the Intercontinental belt. I don't need either one of those belts.
But I don't think we need him winning to do that,
storyline can't challenge Roman still.
That is true. But also Brock has never even held a tag team belt. Like he's never held a mid-card or a tag team belt in WWE. He's literally only been a world champ. The only problem with Brock taking an Intercontinental title is how the hell do you feasibly get it off of him with who should be in the mid card? Because Brock just isn't a mid carder.
I don't think he would beat Gunther though.
I don't think he'd beat Gunther
I
either.
hope not.
There's no way.
No, my prediction for that is if Brock is in the Rumble is that he just has something in altercation with Gunther. It's not to win it. It would be Gunther enters really early and is on a hot streak to go as long as he did last year.
And then
Brock
eliminates him.
comes out and he makes it a point to get Gunther out of the ring.
I agree with the Cody Punk thing that one of them is going to win. Do we see The Rock?
During the Fatal 4-Way, I think that is a thing, not in the Rumble though.
God, could you the pop though? Number
If
29.
he did, if the whole swerve now is to have The Rock enter the Rumble, he's winning.
100%. He's not going to be in the Rumble to lose it. And I originally would say that about Punk, but just like 10 years ago, The Rock's going to trump that. Which is crazy. If we get another like CM Punk Rock issue at the Royal Rumble 10 years later, that's crazy.
Everything becomes full circle.
Life is a flat circle. No, time. Time is a flat circle.
Yes.
My initial thought, though, is that if we're not leading the Rumble winner towards the World Heavyweight Championship, it's just to give Cody his back-to-back Rumble win.
Right.
A lot of size.
Does
this
he beat
episode.
Roman?
Yeah.
Does he beat Roman if he wins that?
I am so 50-50 on whether or not Roman is going to lose at Mania or go on to
Because
beat Hogan's record in
we thought
September.
for sure last year that Cody was beating him.
It's-
We thought it was a 100%. There's no way Roman's walking out with that title.
If there's anything, if there's anything,
Oh, except Clayton. Except Clayton.
if there's anything that's been proven
Clayton
over the
was
last
proven
year,
not to think that.
Yeah, if there's anything that's been proven over the last year, it's that Roman wins law is still going, and at this point, there's no safe bet either way. Which, in the grand scheme of things, as a wrestling fan, it is nice to be kept on my toes and not know exactly what's going to happen because more often than not, given the level of intelligence and predictability we have with professional wrestling, 9 times out of 10 we can look at a match and go, this person's going to win, and we're usually right. But in this case with Roman, over the last 2 years of his 3.5 years or whatever, like, I just don't know anymore.
Well, speaking of dirt sheet reading and how me and Clayton always seem to bounce that off each other each episode, to mention that, Clayton, did you hear about the rumor of what is to be said about Rock, Roman, and Cody as a potential Mania thing?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so the rumor that I am seeing that is getting a lot more build up behind it is that the rumored thing is it's all of but 3 matches. It's either going to be Cody Roman, Rock Roman, or it's going to be a triple threat.
Ew. No. No.
I knew the first two were a possibility. I don't care for a triple threat.
I don't like it.
That doesn't matter because
They're 2 completely separate stories.
yeah, you would be combining the story of the undisputed WWE Universal Champion and the story of the head of the table. And the only logical outcome to that match is Roman wins because he's the only person who needs both at this point. Rock doesn't need a title and Cody doesn't need to be head of the table. So if they honestly at this point, if they do come out and make that a triple threat, I think it's almost a guarantee Roman wins.
Tread it. Run from it.
I'd rather.
Roman is eternal. He is breaking Hogan's record
It's so gross.
because business.
Damn business. If we're thinking business, though, that means every world champion needs to break Hogan's record.
No,
No.
not at all.
It's
Roman right now is better than Cena from 06 to 09. Better than Stone Cold and The Rock at the height of the Attitude Era. Hotter than Bret Hart the night of the Montreal Screwjob. You could take the belt off Roman, but why? Take your fandom out of it. Just look at it objectively.
But is it fair to also say you're hotter than all of these people, yet you wrestle a fourth of the matches they did?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so dumb and like
It's fair to say that only because that is not a, whether you're hot or not is not a statistic of your matches. It's your relationship with the fans.
okay. So now your opinion: is Stone Cold hotter than Roman Reigns?
I think so. I will say yes, but I also think they're in two different categories.
I do.
Because I think Roman as a heel is equally as hot as Stone Cold is as a face. The reason why I say Stone Cold is technically hotter is because a heel.
Stone Cold when he was transitioning from heel to face.
No, not necessarily even about that. It's about the fact that there is literally a thing in wrestling called the Stone Cold Pop. It is in a league of its own. It will never be duplicated or replicated in any way. No one, not even LA Knight right now, is achieving Stone Cold Pops the way that when that glass shatters, it hits. Now, on the equal yet opposite end of the spectrum, when Roman's theme hits, what would be the equivalent of a cheer being that level of boos, you could argue that's being achieved. So if you want to talk about absolute value, then yeah, they're equivalent. But Stone Cold, I would still say, is hotter only because he's the face of the two that I'm comparing. But that doesn't mean that I disagree with what Clayton is saying about the fact that what Roman is doing, what his character is, what his storyline has been, what this title run has been about, it's the greatest piece of wrestling story and the greatest title run of our lifetime.
So I guess let me wrap
Let me answer your question. Because you were asking about the peaks between Roman and Stone Cold, right?
Yeah.
Stone Cold had a significantly higher peak. Roman has significantly higher staying power.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I can see that.
Let me ask it differently too, and this is for everyone too. What is cheer or boo? What is the most powerful crowd reaction you have ever heard? Or, like, this can be in the past. Yeah, it didn't even have to be at these events. Just, like, from what you saw on TV, what is the greatest crowd reaction for one person?
The night they were announcing the host of WrestleMania,
That's a good one.
whatever, that Cena and Miz main evented.
27.
Yeah.
I was going to say...
No, it would be the year before that. It was when The Rock was hosting WrestleMania 26. Rock's first return since going Hollywood is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's before WrestleMania 26.
There are two. Mankind winning that title,
Yeah.
and Shawn Michaels winning the first Elimination Chamber.
The one that I think of that I think is higher than all of that is Dolph Ziggler's cash-in. The crowd reaction for Dolph Ziggler's cash-in was insane. The biggest pop I can think I've ever heard, though, was one of... I don't even know which one it was.
I was about to say the Stone
It
Cold
was
one.
Yeah, the Stone Cold one where he comes out with a chair and just bashes everyone.
That's
like
Mankind.
Oh, was that Mankind's title?
That's
win?
Mankind. He hit The Rock, and
But again, that's
Yeah.
including Stone Cold, though.
Yeah, the Stone Cold's the reason for that crowd reaction, not Mankind.
no, I just think there are Roman. Okay, when I'm putting this into my terms too, I just want to say Roman Reigns is on a different level in terms of you have a heel that can go the limit. The WWE in probably the history of anything has not believed in a heel as much as they do Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
I think they were close one time with a heel that they wanted to go the distance with, and that was Randy Orton.
Yeah.
By far, that is, or superstar Billy Graham, but they gave up on that way
Yeah.
too early. Roman on his level, yes, I think for me, if I'm looking at a heel, and you could say it's heel work,
Yeah.
just letting him sit out all of these like events, I guess, because it makes people hate him more.
that's a meta level of heat.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not talking about X-Pac heat, but we're talking like it's both in character, it's both in kayfabe and shoot heat.
Yeah, because whether Roman actually wants it or WWE sees the fact of how many people are so mad about it,
They're gonna do it
they're
either
gonna
way.
keep him off TV because of that.
I will say the opposite reaction I've heard. The biggest disappointment and some of the loudest boos I've ever heard was someone who didn't even deserve it. It was when Rey Mysterio came out number 30 in that Rumble when it was supposed to be Daniel Bryan. One of the worst. I feel so bad for him whenever I think about that.
One of the most popular superstars of all time.
Crazy.
Got booed out of the
Just
arena.
Shredded because Daniel Bryan was supposed to be number 30 and he wasn't.
For the most over man in the shortest amount of time.
So
Yeah.
let's talk about the women's Rumble then.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Well, no.
I genuinely.
No.
Here's what I mean by that, though. Like, in all seriousness, here's what I mean by that. Whoever wins. You don't have to name anybody. Whoever wins. I think they're doing anything with EO? No. Do I think that they're doing anything with Rhea? No. Like, the Women's Royal Rumble is so poorly developed this year.
I only have one plausible winner.
It's Jade.
Nope.
Jade Cargill will not win the Royal Rumble this year.
It's Bayley.
Bayley is on my list because you have the entire sometime between Rumble and Mania, you're gonna have Damage Control turn on Bayley or Bayley turn on Damage. Basically, the thing is the Rumble winner is gonna stay away from Rhea. They're like I think that's
why it can't be Jade.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I don't think it's going to be Jade because she's so green they don't even want her in a TV match. So don't put her in the main event of WrestleMania.
Jade's looking very raw after Mania right now.
Yeah, Jade Cargill doesn't even start until after Mania. She might have more appearances between now and then, but like if they don't even want her on TV having matches, then they're definitely not going to have her win a Rumble.
Is there any reason as to it's just because she's new?
She got to
she's
the Performance
underdeveloped.
Center,
Yeah.
and they just realized that maybe she isn't as WWE TV ready as they wanted her to be.
Yeah, like she's too underdeveloped. They gave her the Goldberg treatment, and they're realizing that she got the Goldberg treatment because she also has a Goldberg level moveset, and that's not what they want out of someone like her.
Right.
So they're gonna develop. Honestly, at this point, she should have been signed at a normal level, not the hyped level that she was, and she should have gone through NXT. But that's a different argument.
So would we rather have Bayley and EO? Are those the two people, just in your opinion, out of anyone in Damage Control, Bayley and EO? I know that's how the story leads.
I mean, if we're going to do that, that's the only one that makes sense because the Kabuki Warriors are like doing their own thing, and Dakota is still injured, I believe.
I just want to see EO and Kyrie. I just want to see them fight each other. That's all I want.
For me, if it's not within Damage Control, I mean, I don't even know who else is possibly a winner right now.
Other than Becky?
Yeah, Becky is kind of just always an option, kind of like Seth is just always an option.
Raw this last week set that precedent is that they basically announced the WrestleMania match right there is that it's pretty much Becky and Rhea. If I had to look at a promo, yes, I know Nia Jax and Rhea also had a promo the week before, but like you look at the Becky Lynch and Rhea promo, and that just tells me that they were just basically saying, "See you at Mania."
Do they need a Rumble win to do that though?
No,
No,
that's what I was saying.
Exactly.
EO doesn't need the Rumble either.
It doesn't, but
It makes the most sense.
yeah, it makes more sense to do that because it
Bayley
gives a
will
reason.
win.
Yeah.
And because EO's not going to be like, "Oh, you're going to pick me," but then Bayley's going to pick her, and that's going to be the story. It's going to be, "Oh, why are you picking me? You're supposed to be on my team."
Counterpoint is that you could do that just as easily with having them oopsie throw Bayley out.
Yeah, well, you could.
This is what I mean by the Rumble being so poorly just developed.
But
for
then
the
Bayley
women.
could also throw the Kabuki Warriors
Yeah, this
out.
is the first Rumble in a while where I've been like, I don't even got a clue.
and not in a good way.
No, not in a good way.
Nah.
For the men's, yes. I don't. Between Punk and Cody, I don't have a clue between the two of them who's going to win.
I'm gonna
I
throw
like that, but
I'm gonna throw a name out there, and you tell me why she's not even under consideration right now. Bianca Belair.
She just hasn't really been even on TV. But Bianca is even in my head on that list of people
I
like
don't-
Becky. Like Bianca is such a main eventer at this point that her winning the Rumble, especially because she already has,
She already has.
just-
Becky already has.
it's just always an option now.
Bailey is
But
the
you're
only
right,
one
we
out
didn't
of
even
the
think of her.
potential candidates that hasn't won one yet.
there are a lot of bags that have been dropped in terms of AEW doing kind of. The reason I'm bringing AEW into this is because right now, the way they're pushing female superstars in WWE, it's not going too well, in my opinion. Io, look, I'm happy with Io and Rhea as my champions, and if they walk out of Mania with those championships, I am still happy. I will say that. I will
Right.
put that on the table. Imagine a Toni Storm still being in the WWE right now. Imagine how good that would be fighting either of those two women.
I do like Toni Storm, but I don't think we get this version of Toni
No,
Storm
we don't.
if she's stuck in WWE. I
We
think it's-
don't, but we still get the absolutely violent moveset that woman has, which she's fought both wrestlers in WWE and had 5-star matches with both women. Like, I don't see why shouldn't I think Bianca would win the Rumble?
I don't think you should think that she won't. She's on the list. There's just every year there's a list of people that they're automatically put at like a 70% chance to win unless there's a more storyline reason for someone else to be bumped up to 80, 90, or 100% to win.
I guess
And this year, Bailey, usually, even though she hasn't won one, she's been main event enough and she has the title accolades behind her that she could sit at that 70 just like Bianca, just like
Right.
Becky. And then this year she has a storyline reason to go up to 80 or 90% chance.
Even better question: why do I feel like Bianca and Shotzi are on the same level as winning the Rumble?
I don't know about all that.
That's wild.
I
Are you
feel like
saying
that.
Are you saying that to elevate Shotzi or to bring down Bianca?
To bring down Bianca.
That's crazy.
On a current level of TV status, I mean,
yeah.
she isn't truly involved in anything. So her stature of being where she is, she's definitely coming out at a 27-30.
Well, the thing is too, Bianca might be just taking a step back from the week to week in the storyline because she's doing that show with Montez right now. Like they're recording that
Right,
still, I
right,
think.
right.
So that could be a reason why she's just not been on TV as much and she's not as involved in the storylines as of late. But to take her all the way, and no disrespect to Shotzi, but that's really far down there.
Am I disrespecting? Bianca should be a top 3 choice, and I think Bianca, in everyone in that Rumble, has the best pure ability as a wrestler,
Yeah.
or I'll say future, or what's the word I'm thinking of? The most potential. That's
Yeah.
what the most potential as a wrestler, and she's already done so much in her short tenure. But the way they treat her since she dropped the title, I can't see her winning. Hell, again, poorly developed, I guess, is the best way to put it. I just don't got a clue, and I don't like that I don't have a clue.
I like sometimes when I don't know.
I do too, but
But it's bad. It's for bad reasons this time that we don't know. Because to Clayton's point, I do think that at least because if you take the Rumble aside, women's wrestling in WWE has actually been pretty good recently.
Yeah. Definitely.
I actually care about what's going on with their stories, and the matches themselves have been good. But specifically building towards a Rumble, I think Clayton's right. They just haven't been doing that good of a job doing that.
We'll do this for the men's and the women's. We'll start with the women's, but what NXT call-ups do we expect, and will they show out, or will it be just to get names into the match?
Is Mello even a call-up at this point since he's been on TV?
Yeah, Mello would still be a
Mello
call
would
up.
still be a call-up.
Okay, then Mello.
Well, we're doing women's first, I think. Right?
Oh, yeah.
For the women.
I mean, the obvious one has to be.
Dami.
Oh wait, isn't she re-injured?
Dami in the women's
Yeah,
world?
Cora
you're about to say
Jade's
Cora
injured,
Jade.
Cora Jade's
She just retore her
re-injured.
ACL,
Cora
so
Jade
no.
is
Yeah,
re-injured.
She's
gone.
out for how long again?
Up to another year.
That's insane.
Tiffany Stratton's done.
Stratton.
Yeah, Tiffany Stratton.
Maybe. That's about it.
We could get
She's
Valkyria.
Valkyria, I don't. They always call up the NXT Women's Champion.
Yeah, whoever's
It's
champion at the time.
Hey, it's Tiffy time, Clayton. Clayton, is it Tiffy time?
No.
Okay,
And I'll
well,
tell
I
you-
think it's Tiffy time.
I'll tell you why it's not Tiffy time. Because
I like
the
that sentence
only
you just-
woman on the entire roster for Raw and SmackDown that could get a dedicated program, the likes of which that Becky Lynch got with the NXT Women's Championship, is Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
And Tiffany Stratton needs that type of program on the main roster. And that's only intended for the Becky Lynches, the Charlotte Flairs of the world. Anybody else, you're in a faction. Or faction adjacent.
She is the most. I guess her reign got cut really short. I didn't like that, and the Becky thing. I guess what was it just to push Valkyria?
No, they literally didn't have anything for Becky to do.
So that was the most. Thank God you have that title moment when she won that title,
Yeah.
and then it got taken away from her so quickly. Look, if you haven't seen her wrestle, she can frickin' wrestle like no one's business. She should be the person to get called up, and I know there will be other call-ups along the way, but
Are we still talking about Valkyria?
talking about Tiffany.
Tiffany Stratton, okay.
Yeah. Tiffany.
However, the thought just came to me as we're talking about it. You called Tiffany up and you put her with Chelsea.
That's what I was thinking.
I
was
like
gonna
that.
say.
I like that a lot.
But Tiffany is a great singles wrestler. I like her to be a singles wrestler. I thought the same thing about Piper. I like Piper as a singles wrestler, but look where that was getting her. I'd say bring Tiffany up, see where it gets her, or maybe let Tiffany be the highlight of the show, and let Chelsea just be like the entourage.
You
or
keep
something.
saying this thing that doesn't exist. You keep saying singles matches, and those just aren't real.
But for her, she's just so
They
good.
just aren't real. With
Guys-
all this TV time in a week, they just aren't real.
But guys, hear me out. There is one obvious winner for the Women's Rumble.
Who wants to play with Nikki?
It's not Nikki Cross. Let's not overlook Nia Jax here for a second. Just play with me for a second.
I'm not gonna play with you.
What do you do when Nia Jax wins this Rumble for real? And she carries on a storyline with Rhea for some reason. How feasible is that?
She has to join the bloodline. That's the only way.
I want to see Bianca KOD her. That'd be cool.
Honestly, I think that bit aside, the more I think about it, you could see a good swerve in the women's match and have Nia Jax win the Rumble this year and run it back with Rhea and take the belt from her at Mania.
That's crazy if that actually happens.
I'm just saying, bit aside, that's not 0% possibility right now.
Nia Jax is the giant Gonzalez of that division.
That
I'm
is
absolutely kidding.
harsh. Oh my God.
Moving on to the men's rumble
Yeah.
and NXT call-ups. I think Joaquin Wilde gets the Kofi spot.
Yeah, well, because Kofi doesn't need the Kofi spot.
I don't think.
Are we considering Joaquin Wilde a call-up, though?
Yeah, I would consider
Yes.
Joaquin Wilde.
Well, also, I mean, I feel like at this point, Braun Breaker has to get a spot, right?
I just
Like,
want to see someone get speared on TV.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna do it.
Why? He should have been called up last
He's
year.
in the Dusty. He's in the Dusty Tag Team Classic right now with Baron Corbin as his
And
partner.
they're actually doing solid.
Oh, dude, Baron Corbin's career resurgence in NXT has been nice.
The Wolf
to see.
Dog?
It has.
Yeah.
It's been nice. They need to win that
The
classic.
They do.
They
Yes.
do need to win that classic.
Braun is on a different level of comedy because he literally doesn't have the personality for it. So he
His dry humor.
so he came
That
up with their
square
tag team
Steiner
name, and they're the Wolf Dogs.
He literally called himself the big bad booty nephew.
Such
Did he really?
Yeah.
square heads.
Oh, man. That is so funny.
Big bad booty nephew.
Big bad.
Oh,
I'm the big bad dude, booty daddy. When he's like, I got people lining up to fight me 9 days out of the
OB,
week.
Hey, they're only
OB.
7 days.
OB, FEMA, whatever.
The new North American
Yes.
champion.
Yes, he gets a spot.
He got pushed out the. Well, he got injured because he had a giant debut match earlier last year. got injured, went into the breakout tournament. The guy who was a runner-up was fantastic too. That man can fly. But dude, have you seen Obi? Have you seen Obi?
Yeah, I've seen him.
Oh my god, it is so fun watching those matches.
I can see it.
Here's the thing in general about NXT call-ups in the Rumble.
Please continue, WWE elitist.
No. All I was gonna say was, like, do they ever pull the trigger on having an NXT person win the Rumble? Do you ever see it happening?
Braun
That's
next
their
year.
call-up.
Braun would be the right person
Braun next
to do
year.
it.
To just show up in the Rumble, having never had a match on Raw or SmackDown, but actually just wins the Rumble.
Yes.
They were thinking there was a murmur back in the day about doing it with Kenta, and then they shut that down like within a week.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Kenta was pretty high up there. at one
No, I
point.
know. I loved Kenta. That was the era of NXT I watched.
Also, if I'm not mistaken, when is Okada's contract up?
Into this month.
End of this month.
yeah.
Dang it!
Now,
it
here's
would be
the thing.
he would be a chamber person, but also he's heavily leaning towards AEW.
He's in TNA this week, though.
Yeah.
Okada's always wanted to perform at WrestleMania, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Shinsuke.
I said Shinsuke was the person who would have won anything in WWE, being like from that strong style Japan.
Yeah.
Like Okada won't. If he does, awesome. I love that. But if he
Okada
does,
Gunther.
Okada Gunther.
Actually, just to make sure we bring it up and not overlook it, how do we think Pete Dunne's gonna do in the Royal Rumble now that he's Pete Dunne again?
He's in a tag team.
Yeah, he's in a tag team.
I know. I just wanted to make sure we didn't gloss
We got
over the
British
fact that
strong
we got
style.
Pete Dunne back.
So
He might crack top 15 remaining in Rumble.
yeah, he'll have a showing. They're not just
He's
gonna
gonna
bring
snap
Pete Dunne
someone's
back
fingers.
and not give him something.
He might get 2 eliminations.
Damn near just broke my own finger. All right. Well, before we wrap this up, let's go. Let's do the classic surprise entrance. Do we think we're gonna see any returning, like classic entrance into the Rumble, both men and women's?
Classic?
Yeah.
Not classic. A return.
Who's left that can even return? That's either not an AEW, TNA, or just like completely
So-
broken.
Well, I mean, Andrade. Is
So
who
I
gonna
was
mention.
talking to my brothers about this, and I don't remember if I brought this up on the podcast or not. But if you shift the scale to the like 15 to 20 year mark that we used to do, if you picture like the 2008 to 2012 Rumbles, and you have people from like 15 years past do returns like Diesel and Bob Backlund, and you have all these people do like Rumble spots. If you shift that 20 year mark, we're literally looking at like 2003, 2004. So I was saying we need to start seeing people from that era do returns like Steve Blackman.
Oh, I want RVD.
How cool would it be if
Give
Steve
me RVD
Blackman,
again.
RVD would be a good one.
Mr. Kennedy.
Ken Shamrock. Give us a
Ken Shamrock
Give us a
could do
Ken
it.
Shamrock. You know what I mean? Like
That absolute
That
lunatic.
era from like 2000 to 2003.
We'll get Scott Steiner before
Just
we
got
get
skipped.
Braun Breaker.
Yeah, well, I mean, it just like it got skipped in terms of like Billy Kidman, you know what I mean, or Stevie Richards.
Billy Kidman.
Yeah, you
I
remember.
like
We're
no, I like
getting
Billy
Maven.
Kidman.
Maven would be a great one, especially if the Undertaker comes too. That'd be a
Some
fun
good
one.
ones.
But like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a specific era between the end of Attitude and before Ruthless
I think they'd
Aggression
also
that
need to
just
be.
got skipped.
I think they'd also need to be interesting enough for the fans, which is why I said Billy Kidman or like Steven Richards. Or,
Tajiri.
There's getting skipped, and then there's coming out like Jimmy Snuka in 2008.
We're
And
just kind of just no one
nobody
cares.
wants to be
Where Roddy and him had a match
Yeah.
within a match
the
that was
Rumble.
they thought they were in the 80s
Like-
again.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it being skipped when a gaggle, let's say 5 to 6 old dudes who all look like they need new hips are not in the Rumble.
You're telling me you don't want Rob Conway
No.
or Sylvain
Val
Grande?
Venus.
Val Venus.
Val Venus
No.
would get a reaction. That's
Hello, ladies.
Tajiri.
Tajiri
No.
would be great.
Tajiri would get a reaction. Val Venus would
No.
get a reaction. Val Venus would get a reaction.
We'd get Funaki.
Funaki would
Kung
actually
Funaki.
legit get a reaction, but also
Dude, just give us
no.
both of Kai. and
Yoshi
Kai.
Tatsu.
Jimmy Wang Yang. Remember him?
Yes.
I like Jimmy
Paul
Wang.
London.
Please
No.
Paul
stop
London.
Absolutely
mentioning these racist caricature. I can't even say the damn word.
Caricatures.
That's Jimmy Wang Yang in real life. That's him.
yeah,
that's him in real life.
That's just him. Jimmy Wang Yang, dude. That's his life, man.
You know, he has a redneck bus he drives.
You know
That's
who
his
we're
job.
not gonna see? God, wouldn't you kill to see Eugene?
Eugene.
Eugene in the Rumble in
No.
2024 would get WWE canceled.
Okay, real prediction.
Real
predictions. Andrade.
I
Andrade.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I got.
I
right now.
am gonna put out Steve Blackman and Ken Shamrock. I think one of those two is gonna be in the Rumble this year, just because I'm manifesting it.
Okay, you should read up more on
Ken
Ken
Shamrock. You should
Shamrock.
have said Ken Shamrock. I think he.
I did. Well, I did. I said one of those two.
My 2 predictions are Okada and Andrade.
Clayton.
Oh, do I need another then? Oh,
No, you guys can share one if you want.
No, I
Sharing
need.
is
No,
sharing
I
is
keep
caring.
it. He
Sharing
said 2.
is
You
caring.
said 2.
Sharing
I said
is
1.
caring.
I
Your
said
other one's
1.
RVD.
Yeah, you said RVD.
Oh, it was for the 90s
If you
aspect.
weren't sucking down halls.
Okada
Holla
Scott
to the
Hall.
halls.
Rest in peace.
and Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph Ziggler.
Halls.
Nick
Cherry
Nemeth.
Whip.
Nick
TNA's
Nemeth?
Nick Nemeth. Nemeth.
No, he's specifically going to come back as Dolph Ziggler.
Just because
Just because.
that would be silly. Because I'm actually really excited about Nick Nemeth being in TNA.
He's Nick Most Wanted Nemeth.
So he's in TNA.
The wanted man.
He's not New Japan, or he's just doing promotional stuff. In New
He's in
Japan.
TNA.
He's
Okay.
in
Nick
TNA
Nemeth is
promotionally
Impact.
in New Japan.
Look at how that TNA flipped around
I'm
so much. I'm
honestly,
very happy.
Look, this is a high note to end the episode on. I'm super excited for TNA to be back, like actual TNA, because I loved it.
You know whose fault for why
Pre
it went
Hogan
down?
and Bischoff.
It was frickin' Corgan's fault that TNA went down the tubes. And then it's funny because we love the product that NWA has now, especially. But like
Minus the weird cocaine thing.
minus the weird cocaine. thing.
Love's a strong word.
I like it.
Likes a strong word.
EC3
Tolerates.
returns at the Rumble
We go to their show every year.
with the NWA and the
So-
North American.
Doctor.
Yeah.
Doctor. For 2 consecutive years, we paid money to see Tyus wrestle
Bingo.
in the main event.
And
Yes.
lose.
We saw both times he did lose.
And lose.
I
There's
got-
something to be said
I got
about
to
that.
find-
Touche.
I got to find one of my favorite guys on the indies who I didn't know about to start with, and now he's basically wrestling for AEW. So
Are you talking about Flippy Doodah guy? What was his name?
Jack Cartwheel.
Jack Cartwheel, who took your sign but then covered your face so no one knew it was you.
I love you
Oh.
still, Jack.
Speaking of people from NWA show, your girlfriend
I
was
know.
on this most
In
recent episode of
NXT.
NXT.
Maddie Rankowski. I'm a simp. Sue
Aaron
me, I
Yeager,
guess.
or whatever her name is now.
Her name's Ren
Ren Yeager.
Hathaway something. No, it's some.
Ren something though.
It's Ren something. We're just happy for you, Maddie.
Any women's
Especially
surprises
Eddie.
or
And she got spots. She actually
did.
got spots too.
She did.
At this point, I think it's safe to say we might not get a Trish or a Lita this year.
People are saying they're gonna.
Actually, Trish, yeah. Because
She's
Trish was
doing
saying,
the
Trish
Canadian
said some
Got
stuff a
Talent
couple
or
weeks
whatever.
ago about one ready to come back and do some stuff. So, Trish, yeah. Lita, no.
Mighty
Lita.
Molly.
We'll probably get
Mighty,
Molly
dude, it's the same ones every year.
I know.
Give us Jazz.
or just use
Gail Kim, maybe.
Karma.
Gail Kim would be a good one. We even
Karma. I'd like Karma.
didn't we even get Karma once already?
We've gotten
The
Karma
Karma
literally
she's
after
been
she
in
retired.
WWE.
Yeah.
The same Karma that has a lawsuit against Triple H and WWE for human trafficking. That Karma.
Oh, moving on.
I didn't know that. So
No,
I-
no. Tell us, Clayton.
He's gonna pull up his phone now.
Let
No,
me
I would
pull it up
say
real quick.
like if I wanted to see a new one that we haven't seen yet, we could see like a
Gail Kim.
Gail Kim would be a good one.
I don't think she'll.
Have
She
we
actually
seen
said in the past week I would come back, but I don't think they want me back.
Have we seen Victoria yet? Has
Nope.
Victoria come
Nope.
back?
No,
I want
during
that.
during the Bubble Bowl era.
Well, yeah, but did she come back in a
Bubble
Rumble?
Bowl era.
No.
Yeah,
The
she was back
Thunderdome.
at the Rumble. It was in the Rumble.
Oh, was it?
Oh, okay.
It was in the Bubble Bowl era with Jillian Hall.
The Thunderdome. Ugh. You know you want me.
You know you want me.
Away from I don't want to get us demonetized
Oh,
because I'm
Jesus.
so
It's
spot on.
spot on.
That song is called
that Jillian
Sliced
Hall?
Breads. Jillian Hall's
Is
theme
that no?
song.
Are you Jillian Hall?
I am not Jillian Hall.
But you just saying exactly like
You know you want me.
that's Jillian Hall.
Remember when the boogeyman ate that growth on the side of
Oh
Jillian Hall's
yes.
What a great time to be alive.
I'm like, dang, he's
You
making
know,
that look
that
kinda
was.
tasty.
I
face?
remember
He
that
slurped
being.
that shit.
I
Did you
remember
see him
that.
looking? He's like,
I remember that being one of the first times me as a kid going, maybe this isn't real.
No, I saw that. I'm like, good lord. I'm like, leave her alone.
Oh.
Me screaming at my TV.
All right. Anything else before we jump out of here, gents?
Oh, hey. Say that again. Make sure you follow
that
us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, and make sure to tune in each and every week on Spotify, Apple Music, and Podbean.
Sponsor us already.
Yeah, someone sponsor us at this point so we can fit in ad.
Hold on.
Don't.
Ads. Clayton, ads. Ad read.
I'm so good at ad reads, dude.
Ad read.
As we approach this upcoming Single Persons Awareness Day, otherwise known as Valentine's Day, it's always important that when you're ready for the mood, that you seize the moment.
Make sure you have the boner by yourself.
I knew it was going to be a Blue Chew ad.
Make sure you have
Okay. We're going. Blue Chew, if you decide to sponsor us, we'll read your ads. We'll let Clayton do it in his sultry voice. But thank you, Zach. Thank you, Eddie. I've been Randy. Thank you, Clayton, for joining the conversation. Let us know in the. Thank you, Zach. Thanks, Eddie. Thanks, Clayton. I've been Randy. Make sure to let us know in the comments if you think Seth Rollins is going to drop the title or if they should put it up in the Rumble. Let us know who's going to win the men's and the women's Rumble. And let us know if Ken Shamrock or Steve Blackman's going to come back. Thanks for watching, and we will see you soon.